Anybody that says that animal rescue is not about the money is not long for the animal rescue world. And that is a hard, cold fact. Take yourselves, for instance. You go down to the local shelter and you want to adopt a dog. What's the first thing you have to do? Get out your checkbook to pay the adoption fee, right? Next, you got to stop by the pet store and buy a couple of bowls and a bag of dog food and maybe a squeaky toy. Eventually, you're going to have to take it to the vet. You might have to, the list goes on. It costs money. It's not a free thing, and that's just a dog, right? Multiply that by the responsibility of 3,200 donkeys. It's about the money. I don't take on something that I can't afford to pay for. That's irresponsible on my part. So we have to look at it in the sense of what can we do financially. We have projections, we have budgets. How many donkeys do we think we're going to save this year? All these kind of things we have to, and so it's about the money. Every year, we always exceed how many donkeys we said we were going to bring in. But every year I raise more money than I projected I would. And so it's always worked out. But the finances is very, very important. This is just some line items off last year's. We spent over $500,000 just in hay and feed. And believe it or not, donkeys want to eat. They don't have a lot of patience for not being fed. So they expect it. All of our sanctuary fees combined last year was $250,000. Medical expenses, and this includes vaccines, wormers, and actual veterinary care. So as you can see, and that's not the 8 full-time, 2 part-time employees that we have. That's not the myriad of insurances that I have to take on. Fundraising expense, the whole thing. It's an expensive thing. So as vets, you're going to be asked to do work for rescues. You're going to. And my suggestion is be careful. A lot of people have good intentions and they have really big hearts, but they don't have any sense at all, especially in animal rescue industry. And I know a lot of vets that got burned by a lot of people. I know because when I went in and took over the animals from this rescue, and the vets came with their hand out saying, well, I'm out $50,000. It's like, man, sucks to be you, because I just took on $200,000 worth of liability saving these donkeys. I'm not covering your bills. And so I would give you the advice of be careful, be kind, but be careful. And if you're at a rescue and you see something wrong, tell those people what you see is wrong. Tell them. And if they're not open to it, then they shouldn't be in the business. So just words of advice. So we have these animals that have this weird social stigma, right? They're stubborn, they're stupid, they're all these things. So how do we change hearts and minds? Well, one way that we came up with is therapy donkeys. And what we do, most of this is based right there in West Texas because we have an inordinate amount of old people. I don't know where they all came from, but they are everywhere. And Texas has a lot of really cool programs. Texas really cares about the elderly, and I think that's really cool. There's a lot of laws that protect the elderly from being scammed, and it's really cool. And there's programs that help them stay in their homes longer. But you do have a lot of elderly people that are stuck wherever they are. That's where they stay. So for some reason I couldn't find any of my pictures of the old people. But we also do a lot of special needs tours. My particular favorite, the most appreciative group. We do a lot of field trips. We did a lot of field trips when we were based in California. We would do 300 kids in a day. Now we're just now starting to ramp up the actual school trips because it's a hard sell, a rancher's son to come out and pet a donkey, but we're getting there. It was no harder sell than an inner city gang member's son coming out and petting a donkey, and we got there. So I think we're gonna change hearts and minds when it comes to donkeys. We have a booth that we call the Donkey Extravaganza, and it's got its own truck and trailer. And see, I don't know what it is about Butch. He's always in every damn picture.
He's always with you.
Yeah. This is our merchandise booth. This particular booth, they weren't in there yet, but we always take a couple of donkeys with us. But when people hear donkey, they always think second class. They always think the sidekick. And so when I project donkey, I say, let's go bigger, let's go home. So we've got flags, we've got these are the same tents that NASCAR uses. And you drive down the street and see these things, it catches your eye. We got the wavy things, and we've got flags, and you know, we go big. I usually talk somebody into wearing the donkey suit. But we, kind of on a side note, we couldn't call it a traveling donkey show because of the internet connotations that go along with that. And so we tried long and hard to find a name that we could use that was friendly to all. So Donkey Extravaganza is what it is. Getting out there, my dumb ass has written 4 books. At last count, we had sold over 10,000, and that's just through our website, where all the profits go to the donkeys. So that's been pretty cool. But it's just opened a lot of minds. They're not books about donkeys so much as they're book about donkey rescue and the human side of it. There's Big Time and Bonnie. Butch, of course, got center stage. And this right here is my 4th one. You can't see her. YouTube. You young people and your YouTubers. We do a lot of things and put it on video. That's why I'm doing this right now. We are put as much as we can. We have a reality show on there. The tractor accident, which was a fundraising bonanza because all of our donors, the old ladies, are so worried about. I still get well cards from the older set. But there's a lot of cool stuff on how-tos. Richard, the farrier stuff is on there. Go to it, donkeyrescue.tv. If you're interested in donkeys, we got some cool stuff to show you. And so, we found a problem. We created this kick-ass organization to solve it. We're now getting ahead of the problem. So now what do? I've got this great staff, I've got this great facilities, and we're starting to run out of cool things to do. So of course we go out of the country. We got involved working in the Caribbean last year on 2 different islands so far, which is Bonaire and St. Eustatius, or Statia as we like to call it. And there's a lot of donkeys in the Caribbean. There's a lot of drought in the Caribbean, and the two don't go well together. So this is me on Bonaire. This is the donkey sanctuary Bonaire. And you can tell how good the donkeys all look. And Bonaire is 36 square miles, has over 1,000 donkeys on it. They have about 600 of the jennies and foals inside the sanctuary. They left the males out and castrated about half of them. But a pesky group of mean old women from Texas decided to go down there and attack them. They took a picture of a donkey that had a piece of cardboard in his mouth, and they put in their blog that, oh my God, they're feeding the donkeys cardboard. Now this is an island where the wind blows all the time. If the wind ever stopped blowing, everything would fall over. Cardboard blows around. Okay, you can tell these are well-fed donkeys, but that hit the internet, and we all love the internet. They found a pepper on the ground. These donkeys get the day-old produce from the grocery store every single day. Comes in big trash cans, and they dump it out in the feeders. Well, the grocery store had inadvertently put a pepper in there, and the donkeys purposely took it out and spit it on the ground. That's why they found it. Oh my God, they're feeding them peppers. And they went through, and so it was to the point where this outfit was going broke because they rely heavily on tourism, and this group attacked their credibility. And in our industry, credibility is everything. Your brand is everything. And so they asked me if I would come down and inspect them. So Amy and I went down there. She took the sanctuary end of it. I took the donkeys on the outside end of it. And we made a film that's on our YouTube channel. And we basically put our reputation online and said, no, these people are doing it right. These people are doing it great. And we helped them to the point that now when the founder retires, this is one thing I don't like is their feeding is a little crowded. There's a little too much competition for food. But everybody does things different. But this is the founder, Marina Mellis, really nice lady. And this attack on her organization really played hell with her health. She's an older lady, retired. And this is them out actually catching, that's the gin over here and the foal here. They were still catching during this time and bringing those donkeys in. But if you watch the video, you'll see the camera set up and you see the donkeys grazing along and the cars just zipping by. She just put up on Facebook, there was 6 or 8 that got killed the other day. And it's a problem. These animals can't be left unchecked. There's no predation. And if there's stuff for them to eat, they're going to keep breeding. And it's a mess. It's a mess. Now this is the island of St. Eustatius. It's just south of, say, the Virgin Islands. It's still part of the Dutch Antilles. But you can tell these animals are just in dire straits. We've sent, at last, over 30,000 in feed down there. It's expensive to ship it. It costs us almost $3,000 for every shipment. And so they're looking a lot better. This gentleman here and his family started a little foundation to try to help some of them. They had no experience with donkeys, and they were doing everything the hard way. And so we sent our guy Donnie down there, and we set him up with automatic watering systems where everything from the well to the tank to the donkeys is all automated. Just a lot of simple things. We fixed the fence. This island, besides the 100-plus donkeys on this 8 square miles, has hundreds of cattle and thousands of goats that also roam free. And it's a mess. I mean, it is a mess. Everything's in the streets, everything's in the yards looking for food, looking for water. Because we were feeding and watering this particular batch of donkeys, the cows were pushing the fence down. It's just, I don't know how people could turn a blind eye like that. So anyway, we've stepped in and now we're bailing those out and hopefully we'll see some good come of it. There's more islands with donkey problems than there are without. Nevis is another one we're looking at, and there's thousands of donkeys on that one. Which island were you?
St. John.
St. John. But it's just, they used them for plantation work, and then they didn't need them anymore, and they just left them to their own devices. And without predation, these things, they're prolific, to say the least.
So obviously the government doesn't have the money or care.
Exactly.
Or staff that can do anything.
These islands, it's weird. They used to all be colonies, Dutch colonies. Now they have their own central government. It's sort of this weird relationship. But the one rule that is met is they must stay within their budget. Which, wouldn't that be weird if we lived that way? Forget about it. So, and this is Donnie. I don't know if you can see this little scar right here. That was an Afghan sniper's bullet that tried to take his throat out. He was a Marine recon, started working for us as a way of therapy, and now he runs our international program. He's a single guy, which is great because I was having to do it. It was one of those things, fell to me. Now this guy gets to live on my ranch. We babysit his dog, and he gets to travel around the Caribbean. So not a bad gig. And we're also going to be starting a veteran therapy program with the donkeys out at the ranch in the bunkhouse that he wants to head up because he's not a fan like many of Wounded Warriors. And then that's me and Pepe, and that's all I got for you today. So how'd I do? Not too boring, I hope?